All right, thank you everyone for clicking on this video. It is Q&A time indeed. As always, I try to do these once every week or so, splitting them into two parts. One about sports, so that way those that only want to hear my sports opinions can just click on the sports opinions. And those that want my insights or answers related to things in politics or real world or just life in general, it's a separate video. That way those that are interested and do care can go there. The ones that don't and just want me to shut up in YouTube will then, of course, go there and in some cases just bitch about it anyways. It makes no sense to me. But nonetheless, that's why I split up the two Q&As. So this first one is about sports. So let's go ahead and get started. At Semelesulo asks, I'm seeing Bears players like Cordero Patterson saying Trubisky looks like a whole new player. I just see it in his eyes, the fire in him. He's being more of a leader. Last year he wasn't the guy. This year he's the guy. Do you believe it's a new Trubisky? Are you serious? Every single indication you've gotten out of training camp is that neither one of these two bums is lighting the world on fire. Trubisky, Foles, it does not matter. But all of a sudden, because a couple of players and you expect them to give you the actual honest dope here, like look at how many years Cutler was trash and Bears players would say he's our guy and we support him. They knew better. Like the players know. They really know. They know Mitch ain't that dude. They know he's not that dude. Is it a new Trubisky? No, it's not a new Trubisky. The fact that he already hasn't been named the Week 1 starter indicates that he's not a new guy. Indicates that Foles, for all intents and purposes, have beaten him out in the quarterback competition. And even if Trubisky is ultimately named the Week 1 starter because of his familiarity with the team, his history of success against the Lions, that doesn't mean that he beat out Foles. Like being given the job is, in some cases, different than actually winning the job. Ain't no damn new Trubisky. Come on now. You trying to hope here? Trying to hope for miracles? Ugh. At Keys 10, which QB would you rather have at this moment? Joe Burrow or Baker Mayfield? Oh, I think the answer is easy. It's Joe Burrow all day long. Joe Burrow's the rookie. He's not going into year 3. Joe Burrow's the rookie with 4 to 5 years on his rookie contract. Baker Mayfield's going into year 3, and if he all of a sudden actually has a good year, now the Browns have a decision on their plate based off of one good year. Are you going to pay him a crap ton of money? I'd much rather have Burrow at this point. Much, much, much rather. Even though I question just what level of franchise quarterback Burrow can be, like I think he's just a better version of Alex Smith. Personally, I would much rather have Burrow than Mayfield. I don't even think it's a question. And then he asked, what young QB will take the leap towards franchise quarterback this season? And part of that, I think it just depends on how you define franchise quarterback. Like what level? Are you talking top 12 guy, top 10 guy, top 14, top 16? I guess it all depends. I think the most obvious answer is probably Kyler Murray. Like he looks like the one based off of what he did as a rookie. If you go into year 2, like he would be the one that you would say he's most likely to do it. Maybe a Josh Allen in Buffalo going into year 3. Maybe. But I think his Kyler Murray has to be the early favorite. I think it does. And based off what you saw last year, the progression, the fact they brought in DeAndre Hopkins, I think it's him. I certainly think it's him. Chris Joseph asks, do you think Carson Wentz will ever return to his 2017 form? I think that's hard to say, but I certainly wouldn't count on it. But he was also playing at an MVP level in 2017. So maybe a different conversation to have is whether or not he's going to go back to playing truly like a franchise quarterback versus is he going to return to 2017 levels. With him, unfortunately, it is just a question of health. If he can stay on the field, he can be that dude. But he has to be able to stay on the field. And what was depressing kind of last season, if you're an Eagles fan, you finally get Wentz healthy into the playoffs, and then he's out because of the cheap shot to the back of his head by Jadeveon Clowney in the wild card game. So I don't know that he'll ever return to that form, but I don't know that that is truly necessary to consider him a franchise quarterback. Tamari and Terry ask, which team is the true version of the Carolina Panthers North? The Buffalo Bills, the Washington football team, or the New York Giants? Are you asking this because they're old Rivera assistants? Like, I'm really trying to understand, and even then, wasn't Judge from New England? I'm trying to understand the basis of your question here. And admittedly, I'm not really sure what you're getting at. Probably the most obvious version of the Carolina Panthers North would be the Buffalo Bills. You got kind of the dual threat quarterback with the big strong arm that can really make things happen with his feet. Josh Allen probably doesn't get enough credit for the things he does with his feet. But the passing game at times can certainly be up and down. Defense, good. And so I would say them. I would say it's the Bills. Peter Jedra asked, have you ever been asked to do some collab or guest videos? Would you possibly do something like that? Yeah, admittedly, I'm sure on the one hand, I've been asked before, and I know I have, and then different things have happened where I haven't done it. Now, has it been like those users or those uploaders, content creators with significant followings that would necessarily generate a lot of value to me as well? No. On the one hand, am I disappointed in the fact that more people don't reach out to me for those types of things? Yes. On the other hand, is it my fault that I haven't done a better job of fostering networks and building relationships that would allow those types of things to happen? Also, yes. Sure, it would be cool, but it is what it is, I guess. At K Nokaj asks, start, bench, or cut? Steph Curry, Reggie Miller, Drazen Petrovic. Start, bench, cut. This is a good one. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start Drazen Petrovic. I'm going to bench Steph Curry, and I'm going to cut Reggie Miller. Because screw Reggie Miller. I mean that with all types of respect. Bench Steph Curry. And the honest reason I want to start Drazen Petrovic is because we got to see so little of Drazen before that car accident took his life in '93. Like he had just, when he got traded from the Blazers to the Nets, he had just started to figure things out, and he was playing under head coach Chuck Daly. Like he was becoming an all-star, and he was becoming a stud. He was starting to fully unleash his full potential. So for no other reason alone than actually wanting to see Drazen Petrovic play, something I haven't seen now in 27 years, I want to start Drazen Petrovic. Not to mention the fact that when you talk about swag and it factor, like even Reggie talked about the fact that he hated playing Drazen because Drazen would sit there and talk shit to him in like 5 different languages. Drazen was the type of dude that would go up to MJ, talk shit to MJ, wasn't afraid of MJ, and he would come at MJ, and they had some battles, man. Like, it sucks that we didn't get to see more of that throughout his career and through his life, and his life was so tragically cut short. So I'm starting Drazen Petrovic, one of the best shooters in NBA history, one of the best Euros in NBA history. At PaulyPaul412, what's the worst organization, the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Pirates, or the Sacramento Kings? It's still got to be the Browns. It's got to be the Browns. They are the worst. They are just the absolute worst. Yeah, absolutely the worst. At Fulio Georgian, I think the Lions' O-line will be top 7 this year. How do you see them? I think they have the makings of a very good offensive line. Yes. Does it matter? Will it matter? Does it matter? Will Stafford stay healthy all year? Will we get out of DeAndre Swift in the running game? Will you get more out of Hockenson, your first-round pick last year? Like, especially when you throw Hockenson into the mix, you talk about it from an offensive line standpoint. That unit's really good. How do you overcome the handicap of Matt Patricia as your head coach? These are valid questions. At JT Evans 97, which team, in your opinion, has the best chance of going from worst to first in the NFL this year? I'm thinking. I'm also trying to remember. Arizona certainly would be a contender for that. Washington, I know people are going to clown me for saying that, but I have higher hopes for Washington this year, the football team, than maybe some other folks do. I think certainly they are a contender for that. I'm trying to think here. Forgive me. I'm trying to remember last year's standings. I feel so far removed from last football season. But those would be the two that stand out in my mind. And then maybe the Miami Dolphins. And I say that because who knows what's going to happen in that AFC East. But my smart money right now would probably be on the Cardinals. That's where I think the smart money is. Angel of Ashes asks, which Chiefs contract do you see being the most problematic now and a couple of years from now? I think in terms of the now and a couple of years from now, it's going to be Mahomes just because of the sheer number, the sheer amount, the number of years. But it is one of those things, let me be clear. I wish the Bears were in that position where they had to make other tough decisions at other places because they had Patrick Mahomes as their starting quarterback. So even then, will it create challenges? Will they in some cases have to be creative? Will they have to find guys that other people don't? Will they have to get some retreads through free agency, the waiver wire? All of those things will be critically important for that organization in the years to come. So you can say in that sense maybe the Mahomes contract is problematic. But that is a contract you pay 100 out of 100 times. You found that dude. You don't play around with that dude. You keep that dude, period. At Kyle Garner 92 asks, how do you think the Indianapolis Colts will do this year with Phillip Rivers as the quarterback? We're either going to see a washed Phillip Rivers or we're going to see a resurgent, angry, got something to prove Phillip Rivers and they win that division. I think it's really hard to gauge without seeing any type of preseason action or anything what that's going to look like. I think he could do well there this year. I really do. And I like them to win that division, I think, at this moment. Although I reserve the right to change my mind in about a week when I'm doing the team-by-team 2020 season previews. Don't hold me to it too much. It's early spitballing, kind of putting it out there into the Schlegelverse. At Joseph Moran closes us out. What did you think about Amari Stoudemire's career? I thought he was pretty good in Phoenix and overrated as bricks in New York. It wasn't in New York where he really started to have the injury issues. And that was even the thing when you go that far back in time. The Bulls couldn't even win on the Amari Stoudemire sweepstakes, so they ended up with Carlos freaking Boozer. Ugh. I think Amari was a really exciting, dynamic player for some folks. The closest thing we had seen to Dominique since Dominique. And certainly in the younger stages of career, you could certainly have made that argument. Amari was exciting, and watching him in Phoenix with Steve Nash and Sean Marion, that was a fun team to watch. A really fun team to watch. I just think it was unfortunate kind of what happened to him when he got to New York. The suck of the vortex of James Dolan and that Knicks organization seemed to claim another victim. He's felt like it should have been a whole lot better and a whole lot more than what it ultimately was. I think about what could have been to some degree. And I'm not trying to say he was a total buster or a total bum. But you felt like you could have gotten quite a bit more from him than what you ultimately did. How about that? All right, so that's it for this sports Q&A. Thank you again, everyone, for submitting your questions. I do appreciate it. We'll be back in a little bit. Yeah, probably uploaded a couple hours after this one to talk some politics and life and everything else and the life Q&A. So stay tuned for that if you are so inclined. If you want me to just stick to sports, then you can just pretend that other video doesn't exist and watch this one. All right, see you later.